Hey babe, welcome back to the Turned On Woman podcast. This is your host, Lauren Schaefer. This is the second part of our conversation with my boyfriend, Trevor. We are talking all about the early stages of our relationship, and this is the part where it gets really juicy. So if you didn't listen to part one, you probably want to go back, listen to part one, get the context, because this is where it gets juicy. Trevor really reveals how I showed up early on in our relationship so that he could see what it is that I was desiring in a relationship, and he got the opportunity to step into the man, the role, the partner that I was desiring. So I'm so excited for you to listen to this. Here we go. What I want to say is that Trevor and I were actually, again, like platonically friends for about 2 weeks, but I want to say the first time that we actually hung out, I don't know, my memory is kind of like, remember the day you came over and we co-worked in my bedroom because there was AC and it was really hot and muggy that day? Anyway,
Kinda, yeah.
I think that was the first time we hung out, and then we went to lunch. So this was actually this was the first time we hung out after officially meeting. We went to lunch, and Trevor is 6 years younger than me, and or maybe 5.5 if we did the actual calculation. He's a Cancer. I'm a Capricorn. No, it's not 6.5. I'm pretty sure it's 5.5.
Okay.
Yeah. 6.5 would be, yeah, I'm just kidding. I draw the line. We went to lunch, and he asked me what I was looking for in a partner, in a man. And I remember a little bit of this, like, oh shit, like, what am I going to say? Because I was like, is he asking for himself? What is he asking? You know, I was just like, what is he saying? But then I was like, I just told myself, I was like, no, he's not asking for himself. And I was like, whatever, even if he is, I was like, this young guy thinks he can
get all
bag
up
an
in
older
there.
woman. But he did. Okay, joke's on me. But, I was like, no, he's asking me because he wants to know what older women are looking for. And he knows that I went through a breakup, and that I've been, being intentional about dating and knowing what I want. That I was like, okay, he's curious about what does a woman like me, like, especially as a dating coach, what is she looking for? And so I said, like, I'm looking for a man that I can build a future with, that I can have a family with, that, values, community and growth and connection and blah, blah, blah. I don't know what else I said, travel and things like that. But there were some big pieces in there that I was a little like, oh my God, like, am I really telling this guy this? Like, is it too much? All of that. But it's in that vulnerability that the truth, the authentic truth, gets to be shared. And I just fully claimed what I'm looking for, the type of relationship that I desire. I might have said something around is conscious about sexual energy, because that's something that I'm really is one of my strong values. So the way we treat sexual energy, and that's not the first time I've talked about it, in the Turned On Woman realm either in our community. But I just got the opportunity to say it out loud. And had we actually been on like an official date, I mean, like, I'm always one to say what I am looking for up front. Again, Trevor and I were friends at this point, and he took it upon himself to ask me what I'm looking for. And then I just let him like have the answer and sit with that. And I don't think I asked it back. But I was just like, all right, that's that. And then it was 2 weeks-ish later, where we were co-working at your place. Oh, you had planned.
No, I invited her. I created a plan because I was like, it'd be nice that we, can connect more and see what it's all about. But then it was like, okay, let's create a day, like a special day where it's like, okay, I'll pick you up in the morning, whereas living was a bit out of town. You come out to my beautiful place, it's on the beach and blah, blah, blah.
A man with a plan.
We can get some work done. I already have food ready for, we're going to make lunch because we're not going to go to lunch and just enjoy the day. And then I'll drive you home, before it's dark and go from there, So that was the idea.
And that was my first inkling of like, I was like, ooh, ooh, dang, like he's putting a plan together. He's telling me he's got lunch ready. Like he ran the menu by me. We were like, how's steak and potatoes? And I was like, sounds perfect, because that's honestly what I eat most of the time.
There's also a test, like
A little test.
myself.
Well, that's the thing.
I want to make sure she eats healthy, and I can feed her well.
But be the alignment when you can be your authentic self from the get go, then you can see, is this person in alignment with me or are they not? And the sooner you can figure that out, the sooner you can move on and find someone who is more in alignment with you. And so, yeah, in our communication up until that point, I will tell you that I'm all for doing what makes you feel good. Again, caring about how you feel over how it looks. So not caring how it looks, caring about how you feel. I don't follow the rules. Should he text me first? Should I double text? Should I not? I text someone when I feel like it. And also me being, I would call it like borderline annoying, which is not annoying really at all, but being borderline annoying, sending a photo or sending an audio, you get to see how that person responds to who you are being. And so I know that like I would text you and I just I don't expect anything in return. It's just like, hey, hope you're having a good day, like wanted to check in or whatever. Like that was kind of our communication early on, was not every day, maybe every couple days, and I was just texting when I felt like it. And then there was no like, oh, he texted me, I need to wait 2 hours. Those are games. Stop playing those games and see, what this person's communication is like in response to your communication, I think is really important.
Yeah, as a man, we don't care about those things at all. Like,
huge. That men don't care about that. See, they're not even thinking about it. It's the women that are overthinking and actually playing maybe more of a game than a man.
We might be busy. We might be doing things, and we'll get to you when we get to you. But it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna count down or do anything like.
That's something that's important. I had a client recently be like, I was angry that he didn't text me, for a couple of hours, and I was like, listen, honey, he's a man. And I was like, you can have your preference for when he would text you, but that's honestly like your ego. That's like an expectation. I was like, you want to be with a partner who is present in the world, who is focused on what he's doing, who's not attached to his phone. And it was that man's, he had some family gathering or something going on that day. And so I was like, you need to be so okay expressing yourself and not expecting something in return. But when he has the time, then caring about, okay, what was the level of his response, and over time seeing what is his cadence of communication and type of response, not one single incident or day. And yeah, that's what I'll say on that, is that, you want a man who's providing, who's out in the world, who is focused on what he's doing, who is, going after his purpose. And I'm sorry, but that man is not going to be attached to his phone. So if you're attached to your phone, I would check in on your codependent tendencies for needing a response back in a certain amount of time so that you can feel okay. It's the bigger question is, why do you not feel okay? And take care of yourself first and let that man respond when he's able.
If we want something, we're going to do our best to get what we want. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So then, man with a plan. He planned this day for us. And that was the first time when, at the end of that day, this is a funny story though, because I was ovulating that day. And so I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know if I like this guy. Like, I think I do. Like, I don't know. Like, where's this going? But I knew where my hormones were. So I knew to keep myself in check. So if you don't track your cycle, I would highly track your cycle so that you know how you are feeling hormonally, because that gives you a lot of data and information that you need to probably help keep yourself in check a little bit, so that you're not texting exes right before your period comes, because that's when you're going to want to do that. And you're not just going crazy when you're ovulating. So anyway, I knew where I was at hormonally, and I was like, okay, what's going on here? But we had a great work day session, and And then you were the one who brought up the conversation of, hey, like, we've had a great time connecting and, you know, want to see how you feel about this.
Yeah, it was like on the drive home, we drive 20 minutes back, and so we have time for that conversation where it's like, okay, so yeah, like, what are you feeling about, us right now, And also same thing for myself. I was like, do I like this woman? Do I want to, go further than what's on the table right now, or what? And I wasn't totally certain at that moment, but I wanted to hear her side. So it was just like, offering very open-ended questions to hear from her and what her desire was.
Yeah. So I recognized, I was like, oh, he is like expressing how he feels and how this connection has gone and what he thinks of it. And so then I was like, oh, well, actually, like, I have felt really good around you. Again, feeling super important. Again, I wasn't thinking like, oh my God, this guy is 6 years younger than me. He's never going to fulfill like the, desire that I have in life. I was not thinking of the logistics and the analyzing.
It felt natural.
It felt natural. That was the most important, is that you have to be in your body, know how you feel, tame your mind, which is your masculine. Tame that masculine so that you stop cutting things off that are meant for you, or even not even entertaining what could be meant for you. Because again, like the day that I met him, officially it was like, okay, am I going to entertain this or am I not? And I was like, you know what, I'm going to connect, and I got the opportunity to see how it feels. So I was like, you know what, I feel the same. We've had a really good connection, good conversation. And then I put the ball back in his court, and I was like, I'm going to let you decide if you want to date me. And I said, I'm open to it, but I want you to be intentional about it. So I put the ball back in his court, and I said, you get to decide if you want to date me.
There was also like, you planted a seed too there, where you were like, yeah, there was a moment when you were working out that, you just look so sexy, and I kind of felt like I wanted to make out. It might have not been exactly those words,
well, so that was after I said, you're mixing things up, because that was in the car ride on the way home. But the conversation we had was on the couch on the patio. And so then I'd already put the ball back in your court. So then, because I knew that he was interested, I also started to show him a little more interest and started to reveal that, okay, I'm actually attracted to you. I'm into you. Yeah, he was doing this workout. And like I said, I was ovulating. So of course I'm over here like drooling over this like tan man who's like ripped and like doing pull-ups. I was like, holy hell, what is happening right now? I had to contain myself, to say the least. But yes, then I started to just reveal that, because I was like, not that I was trying to like put it all out there, but I wanted to give him some reassurance. And I also just felt like, again, like sexy and sassy that day, that I was like, I'm just going to tell this man that like, I'm into it. Like this, like this could be really fun. Like we could really get along.
The thing that was nice is you provide clarity. It's not like beating around a bush. It's not, uncertainty or I don't knows. It's like you provide clarity, but then you still make it up to me to make a decision. Yeah. Which is like something that you want to see. And, I didn't have to make a decision that day or anything like that, but it was just like, wow, and then I kept bringing it up too, just to kind of figure out where does her level of interest lays. And then she also planted the seeds where now, the next day, I'm imagining that scenario. What if we were making out on that couch or after that workout session or whatever? Like, how hot could that be? And, so then we connected again on the Sunday. That was a Friday. And then we connected again on a Sunday. And we ended up going on it was like a triple date, two of friends that are dating. They've been dating for quite a while, and we're just like, we're getting to know each other, and we showed up to their double date, and we made it a triple date, and great time, fun in the rain, etc. And I think that was like the day we actually like first like kissed, but then you still, we still left it at like, okay, well now you really do need to make a decision on what you want, and like, And I was like, okay, let me think about it, you know, and then
that wasn't a conversation that we had, though.
no,
I think that we just
like
left.
it was just natural.
We just
but
knew it was still pending.
yeah, we knew it was pending. You know, it wasn't awkward, or it wasn't like, hey, you need to do something now, otherwise, you know, like I'm walking away. But what came up was like, okay, the next day or the day after that, I was like, okay, I've decided, you know what, fuck it, let's do it. Let's see what it is to date with each other. Let's do this thing, you know, and like get to know each other further and make it happen. Which it's like, okay, well, you know, as the man, it's, you know, now I'm going to cut time in my schedule to intentionally be with you, to take you out on a plan, or you know, spend time. And that's where the things started, and then we snowball from there, which I think our getting to know each other stage was, you know, very fluid. And I think it also, you know, on a I don't know the word, but it moved very fast, you know, maybe if you compared it to others or whatever. But, you know, I think it's just because we're very clear, and, you know, and that's just, and we're really communicative, you know, we're not afraid to speak what's on our mind. We're not afraid to speak what we want, and we just talk, you know, we talk about it, and we have clear communication. And that's something that we continue to do in our relationship, which is, you know, really incredible. And so it allows us to grow faster and get to know each other. So I find that's that's been us, you know.
And so it's like, I just want to make it clear that, you know, we only knew each other for like 2 weeks, and then it was like, okay, we're dating. And mind you, we kissed the day before he messaged me and was like, you know what, I've thought about it, and I think it'd be great, like, in this season of life, to support one another, and I would like to date you. Like, he literally said that, like, clear as day. It did not matter. Something I want to highlight is, like, we were so clear with each other that I think a lot of people would look at it as cringe or awkward, or even an old version of me would have thought, like, oh my God, like, that's not sexy or whatever. But you know what the sexiest thing is clear fucking communication. And that way, you know what the intention is. And it also provides, like, this relaxation. It provides safety. It's just like, it's maturity. And so it feels really good. And I think sometimes both of us each have surprised each other with this level of clarity. I think, like, to lead it is one thing, like for him to text me and be like, you know, I want to date you. And I think I was like, oh, like, okay, like, this is nice. And then I've also provided some clarity on, like, you know, I want us to take care of ourselves and come together, you know. And he's probably like, oh shit, like, I didn't, like, it's almost like it's surprising a little bit, but then it's like, oh yeah, like, I actually want that too. So, like, when you can communicate things, you can really find common ground.
Yeah, it's like being able to be like that open and straightforward. It's
so refreshing.
But it's also like, we're not wasting time, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're gonna spend 2 months in this, like, getting to know each other phase, and then in, like, realize, okay, it's not for us, and, like, next, you know. It's like, why waste all that time? Like, time's so valuable. Yeah, we can have fun in it, but that's just that, you know.
The more that you know yourself, the clearer that you are, the quicker things can go. Now, this is not it's not a game about quickness, but for each of us, as we are saying, like, I went from, when I first moved to Mexico, I had my own rule for myself of, like, I want a man to show me that he can be friends with me first and foremost for a month. That was my bare minimum. But over the course of 2.5 years until I met you, I built my own internal self-trust. I had more confidence in who I was. I knew what I wanted. I knew that, you know, this relationship is for growth. And I just had this level of self-awareness that all of a sudden I didn't need 4 weeks anymore. You know, I didn't need a whole month to get to know someone, because I was that much more clear, that much more, like, authentic in myself, that much more knowing what I wanted. So that was able to speed up the process.
You get rid of the rules when you have the right intention, and you move into it like with realness.
Yeah.
Also, like the big thing too, it's like you helped made me be a man in a way of like, okay, so the seeds you were planting, what you want out of a man, what we shared in those conversations before I asked you to date, I knew that I had to stand up and do the thing that maybe an old self of me wouldn't be able to normally do, which is to be open and vulnerable and to ask, to show and to stand up. And that was your doing from who you are, what your energy is, and the other things, and those conversations to, you created a playing board that I then had to go and move those pieces in order to make happen. But without that, it wouldn't have gone like that. We could have been kind of pushing around and not be dating, but kind of unclear. And then, then it's like, okay, we went on like a dozen dates, and then we're like, should we date? Like, is this a thing? Or like, what should we call this? It's like, but through your awareness, your values, how you stand and displaying it, it's like, okay, if I want this woman, I got to move the cards. I got to go do the thing. Otherwise, it's just not going to be the reality, so.
Woo, mic drop. Okay, we have to touch on this because there's so much in this. I'm so glad you said that for women to hear, because there's a couple of ways that this gets said in content these days and what women are talking about. So one thing is that the feminine inspires the masculine. And so from him hearing my desire, where I'm leading myself, I always say the feminine leads with desire, where I'm leading myself in my life, who I am being. So knowing that I want a family, that I want kids, that I want, to build a big business, and, that I want to create a certain type of connection with a man, one that's deep, one that, we value our sexual energy, like the little nuances of the things that I want. But not every single piece needed to be explained, but it's like, that's who I was being. And he could see that, hear that from the responses that I'm giving him. Like when he asked me, what is it that you're looking for? And the most important thing, so when I say the feminine leads with desire, you speak your desire, you be about your desire, you share your desire, even if the man's not asking. Eventually he wouldn't have had to ask me. I would have said, this is what I'm looking for. I'm not sure what you're looking for, but like, this is what I'm about. Like eventually that would have come out had he not asked me. And the most important thing, the reason why you want to lead yourself with desire as a woman is because then you get to see how the man responds. And also in his response, you get to see, is he available for that? Is he available
I decide if I want to match you or if I just want to go off on my ways.
Yes. Can he fulfill and support your desire? Otherwise, he will see his way out. And if he doesn't, it's up to you to also see, like, are we in alignment or are we not? So, and you also need to feel into it. You have to feel into, if it's not clear that he's available for that and that he wants that, you need to feel into, oh, this man is like not showing up for what I want. So this comes back to your emotional intelligence, feeling it, not just hearing what he's saying, but seeing his behavior backed behind what he's saying, making sure that his actions match his words. Now, we are so often said that, oh, the man leads the woman. Okay, yes-ish. I had a mentor who said, yeah, the man leads, but the feminine frequency goes first. So there's, again, the frequency is her energy, which is actually her desire. So the woman's desire goes first. So in that case, is the woman leading the man? Not necessarily, but it's like she's setting the canvas up. Like he said he could see what moves to make and things like that because I'd already set out the, what did you say, chessboard? Something like that.
Yeah, the playing board.
The playing board. Like I had already set it up. I already said, this is the game that I'm playing. Game, I'm not saying like toxic game. I'm saying like, this is my game of life that I'm playing. I was in telling him, it's like I'm allowing him to see, can he insert himself into the game? Does he want to be a part of my game? Or does he want to be a part of this painting, you know? So you have to lead yourself with your desires so that the man can decide, do I want to also play this game, support and fulfill this role that is available in this woman's life? It's not that you're asking him to do that. You are sharing what you are about, and you're just not available for anybody who doesn't also want that. So that's a huge piece in alignment with a man. And leading with your desire and leading with how it feels. And so that he can truly see, am I available for that? Because then he will, as Trevor just said, he will begin to step into that role. Here's the reason why the feminine inspires the masculine, is because he gets then to decide, do I want to become that man? And again, this is a growth thing. This is all about growth. It's all about who you are becoming. We're always becoming more. And he got to see where the bar is. Do I want to become the man that, can fulfill and be a part of these desires with this woman? Do I want to co-create these desires with this woman? So this is why it is so important, again, going back to like knowing your own purpose, having your own desires in life. What are you working towards? Because yes, you can want a family and kids and all of that, but first and foremost, like, what do you want for yourself and your own life? And the man becomes the cherry on top. He can come in and he can start to fulfill and support those desires. Men love a purpose. They love a task. A healthy, mature man, that's what you're calling forward and inspiring within him when you're saying, this is what I want and I'm not available for anything less. So I love that you bring that up, because I knew that was possible for me to share what I'm about and to let a man decide, does he want that or does he not? Because at the end of the day, it's like I'm always choosing myself. So it's like you get the freedom to decide, do you want this or do you not? And we've had multiple checkpoints throughout our relationship. I mean, we've been together 8 months, but of like, hey, is this what we want? Are we still working towards the same things? And we're like, okay, yeah, like this is a growth point for us. Like we are stepping into this. We are calling forward a better version of ourselves.
Yeah, the superpowers. Babe, is there something you want to hint at or to leave the listeners on, any topics that they can maybe learn more in our next episode together? Something I want to just foreshadow. Also, no, just to be clear on here too, like I always, as I say many times, like I started last year at the beginning of a breakup and had to heal through that. And I just want to say that like the time that I met you was the perfect time for both of us. If we had met any sooner, I don't think it would have aligned. It wouldn't have worked out. Mm-hmm. But this is truly why timing is, as they say, divine, but it's really about alignment of who you are. It's about your own energy. It's about turning on your energy. And as I say, becoming the woman who can receive. It's becoming that version of yourself that is no longer looking and seeking the man. It's that you're actually already receiving the love and the desire for your own life, that then the man is just a byproduct of who you are being. He's just the cherry on top. So if we'd met any sooner, it wouldn't have been the right timing. So even though I had a previous judgment of you, it wasn't even a bad thing necessarily, but it was a good thing that in the moment that we did meet, that I could be like, no, I'm going to choose to connect here and not to choose to be that old version of myself. So, well, even for myself, energetically of, my personal life, that was also perfect timing to attract you. And you know, what you share in terms of energy and showing up, it was also, you know, maybe I wasn't very conscious of it yet, but that was also underlaying inside myself to, you know, then show up and find you, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. So yeah, a few things that, just to recap, that we talked about today. Not only was it perfect timing for us, it's that, you know, we had clear communication for what we were looking for. Neither of us had expectations about where this was going. I allowed the connection to unfold, and over time, not even that much time, but I just got to see like, wow, this feels really good. I like who this person is being. I like who I am around this person. I like how I like who I am in the sense of like, I could openly and honestly not only communicate, but be fun and be like, send voice memos. And like, I think I sent you a picture one time, and that's kind of like a little trick I have. No, it's not a trick. It's just like an authentic, like, I'm going to send a picture and like see what he says. Again, him responding to me being playful. You know, we didn't jump into things. Again, there was no like expected outcome, but then we were clear about dating, and like, you know, we didn't sleep together before we even started dating. And it almost like it wasn't necessary. A lot of times, I mean, in the past, I've encountered men who are like, well, how do I know I want to date you until I sleep with you? Absolutely not. I'm not here for that energy. If you cannot connect with me and have a good friendship and like a solid foundation first, like, why would sleeping with you be fun? It's not. It's like this physical weird distraction, because then when you actually have that foundation, sleeping together, having sex gets to be beautiful, so much love. Anyway, we have a lot more coming on that. And also know that dating is for your own growth. It's for growth, and, you know, have the intention of what it is that you want in a relationship. Have your own desire of who you are, so that you know that even if he were to leave you, you're still going to be okay. You're going to be okay, because you're always going to be aligning to the next man, because your energy will always do that for you. So, all right. Well, we'll definitely have to have another episode where Trevor is on sharing all the things, but this was great.
You think so? I can come back on?
Special guest more than once. Oh, now's a good time to announce.
Ooh.
Trevor and I are actually, and this will be in another episode for our Tantra journey, but we are actually going to start our own podcast. TBD on the name exactly. Probably like Creating Love. It's all about doing sex differently. And we have been on a journey of Neo-Tantra for the past 6 months of really changing our sex life to be energy first. And it has been a beautiful unfolding. And so more details to come on that. The podcast will be coming, I don't know, in the first part of, 2025. Here we are.
Well, to be honest, I'm actually really excited for it,
Of course.
I think you also forgot one thing in the hypnosis of the podcast.
The friend gathering? What?
No, that you're just so damn beautiful and so nice to look at while we've been talking.
What's funny is Trevor messaged me and was like, hey, I'm on my way over in a minute. I'm making us cacao. And I read that text message and I was like, oh my God, what did I do to deserve a man who is going to make cacao for us for our first podcast episode? And then I was like, oh wait, I know exactly what I did to deserve this man. I turned on my freaking energy. I became the woman who receives, because I chose to, it's so cliche, to love myself first, but no, to honestly prioritize myself, to prioritize my desire, to know what I want, to be authentically myself, all of the things, to trust myself. And then I was like, he's just a reflection of me. He's just the byproduct of who I am being. Okay, I will leave it on that note. Babe, I cannot wait for you to receive your man this year. Check the show notes for some extra links to some resources that we have for you, and we will see you in the next episode.